Welcome back to Global War 1939. Just finished off round two. So let's take a look. So this is usually a part of the game, and usually when I'm playing Germany anyways, turn one is a mad dash, cleaning up all these countries in Europe. Turns two, three, and sometimes four is not much action going on. Purchasing, maneuvering, getting ready for Barbarossa. So that's exactly what happened here. So if you do this, the third bonus, because this one and the Russian one are super easy to get. It's the third one you really got to pay attention to. But if you do get it, in this example, we ended up with $95 to spend on round two. Part of that was we were lucky on getting these two for Vichy. This did go Vichy, so we did collect it one turn. The British did come in and capture it, because there's not much that you can do about that. Just collect the dollar for the one turn. So normally you can expect around $90. That's of course incorporating the 20 you get from France. So they got their purchases and they focus all on their army, more armor, infantry, and artillery. And then, of course, all your freebies that you get from your allies. We did go ahead and activate Bulgaria. So we got all of our allies up and running. And at this point, it's just a wait. Probably going to go with a turn 3, turn 4 assault into the Soviet Union. So usually what I'll do, any surviving armor, especially the medium tanks that comes out of Paris, I'll normally keep whatever infantry survived, and the light armor will stay in France for the defense, and then everything else gets shipped off to Russia. So currently on its way, we got 7 medium tanks and artillery, 3 mechanized. We'll meet up with this group here. Of course, this is all the starting units, and then the 9 purchases that we can, or 6, sorry, that we can add in. This one we won't be able to produce in there until turn 3. And then typically what I like to do, the fighter that you get here, fly it up to Finland to help support the Russian attack. Because eventually at some point that will happen, I suspect, next turn. All right. And there's not much that we can do with the Navy. Typically by turn 2, the Germans don't really have much of a Navy left. We did get lucky and we got a 3rd transport and destroyer. We have to keep them up in C-Zone 19. If we bring it down to 18 or 17, it'll just get hit by the UK bombers. So at least up in C-Zone 19, it's out of range. And then we'll just bring it down, pop it back up as need be for reinforcements if we go do that. And then any ships that were out in the Atlantic that started off, right now one's convoying. The 2 that were convoying, the Canadians did, or Canada and the UK built 2 transports there. So that was a pretty tempting. So those 2 subs went up there to take out the Canadian transports, knowing that they'll probably get sunk because they're too far close. Be no way they're going to escape. So that's kind of a sacrifice of 2 subs to get rid of 2 transports, which will just force them to spend more money on transports. So for basically the UK will end up spending $28 on 2 transports, where you only 2 subs for you only cost 10. So it's pretty good, decent trade-off. And the Graf Spee that started down here and the 2 other subs, they're going to chase these guys around the map for a little bit. Maybe a couple convoys, force the UK to send vessels down. Not really going to change a lot. Just gets the UK ships out of position for later on in the game. So a little bit of distraction. And if they don't come down, because they don't want to be bothered with it, well, then you're going to take $4 off a turn. For the Italians, they did go finish off the rest of Greece, which is great. They did buy a transport last turn. They bought another one this turn. So right now they got four. Four should be good for a little bit. Maybe get a fifth one when we're prepping up for Cairo, which we're starting to do now. So we got, for our purchases, we got a heavy artillery, transport, and a bunch of infantry. So all this equipment here will be transferred down to Africa. As of right now, it's not really needed in Europe at this point. Later on in the game, it will be, but let's utilize these units in a better way than just sitting there doing absolutely nothing at all. We're going to need this equipment to go after Cairo. So possibly, more likely, these three transport with the fleet will help ferry units across. Possibly get a fifth one to go after Gibraltar. Probably go after Cairo and Gibraltar at the same time. Trying to fix the mistake that we did in Game 2, where it took them way too long to get out into the Atlantic. We want their navy to be utilized better than just sitting around. For the Russians, they're prepping up to go after Finland, so that's all set now. All the units that went into Poland and the Baltic states backed off a little bit, just to avoid the German, not really sneak attack, but it's one of their bonuses when they attack Russia for the first time. Any army that got built up on the border is just going to get decimated. So avoid that, back everyone up. Yes, you are surrendering 5 territories if they get into Crimea. But it's worth not losing an entire army for no reason. And Russia has a hard time getting units on the map as it is. So we don't want to help the Germans out. We want to keep our units for the battles that will happen, for the Battle of Moscow, Battle of Stalingrad. China did get aggressive. The Japanese, the previous turn, China did come up with 1 infantry. Japan did go in with 4 to take their territory back, and then China counterattacked. The Japanese did lose. The Chinese lost a couple of infantry. But in this overall turn, between this Chinese battle and the British counterattacking Burma, the Japanese have lost 3 veteran infantry, which is not good because you can't buy them, and they are a very good unit, very versatile in getting your objectives accomplished. So now they're down by 3. This early in the game is not working out. Like I said, FEC did go on the counter, so they did take out the Burma Road. They utilized their transport to help them facilitate that. It was a close battle. The Japanese, I believe they had a tank and a couple of infantry. Pretty sure they had 4 units. And the UK went in and they lost a bunch of infantry, so they don't really have a lot left behind. I can definitely see utilizing these 4 plus all this to go take that back out. And they don't really have much of a follow-up after. They got a couple tanks, artillery, 2 infantry, but we'll see. The Japanese fleet is definitely going to take out this fleet. Because this transport, even though it's only 1, it does help get heavier units like the artillery across much quicker. Japan did come take out 2 more islands, so just 2 left. Wait for the Americans to be closer to 80 before we attack Philippines, Guam, and activate that bonus. Anzac is also getting aggressive. They came up with man and artillery and took out a Japanese island. So this Japanese force here is going to have to do something about this. Probably utilize they got a bunch of destroyers. Right now, these destroyers are just ferrying people across on the non-combat turn. So we might utilize this plus this to go after Anzac and take out their fleet before they do even more damage than what they are. For the rest of Japan, they did finish off Hong Kong. They did go in here to recapture that territory, recapture two territories that Communist Chinese took out, but they got counterattacked there. This territory for China did get left blank, so China just walked in and to recapture it. For their purchases. Now, I did misspoke on the last video. I said the Singapore battle, they relied on their Air Force. That wasn't true, sorry. Their planes start up here, so Singapore is too far away. They used their bombardments, so their battleships and their cruisers, to soften that up. They also went ahead and did their sneak attack. Sometimes I'll save the sneak attack for like turn 4 or 5, but by that time you're already at war with everyone. You can only use it against the Americans. So I decided to use it right away. You'll get a $35 bonus, get a jump on creating a second fleet now as opposed to later. And it makes the 6th Singapore battle so much easier. And you don't have to bring in as many units. So which is great. And the other 2 spots we used the sneak attacks on are the French. Kind of a waste, but we wanted to get the $35 now as opposed to later. And I'm already using one here. I'm pretty sure you have to use all 3 together at once. So just take out as many allied units as possible. Now, of course, if these go Vichy, then they're just walk-ins, and then you can use instead of going 2 units there, 2 units there, you only need to go 1 each. The other 2 could go after Singapore, or not Singapore, Hong Kong. So in this regards, Japan's kind of a turn behind. So they went ahead and constructed a battleship, a couple of fighters, aircraft carrier, and a bunch of land-based units, infantry, mechanized, and artillery. And they got a couple more artillery, a couple more infantry, and a heavy artillery in Japan. So once this fleet is done with the FEC fleet, which I have no doubt Japan will win, they're going to sail back up and probably park here in Sea Zone 112, challenge the Americans, keep them in check, convoy this box. It also keep the Anzac fleet from maneuvering up into these islands. But that'll be a couple turns down the road. So for Japan, their objective for the next little bit, definitely cutting off the Burma Road, does give China a $5 bonus. So that's way too much money that the Japanese doesn't want the Chinese to have. Essentially, removing that 5, you can think about it, it's like add $1 extra, that's 2 less infantry that they'll have to fight. So that they don't want to deal with that anymore. Plus, it gives the Americans the ability to keep landing tanks. I believe they're allowed to lend at least 3 armored. So we don't want that on China's arsenal. We want to limit them down to only infantry and only have a defensive base. You don't want counterattacks coming from China. Really slows down the advancement that you can make. They're going to have to go and take out Communist China as they have their entire army in one zone. So that should be a pretty easy counterattack, especially utilizing the Air Force. America went ahead and purchased another battleship. They're sending the Free French to go after these subs. They purchased 3 more transports off the coast of the USA, built up some more infantry, landed some more infantry in Africa. And the UK also bought more transports. Canada really didn't do much. They bought 1 medium light tank, saved the rest. So they're going to wait for these subs to be cleared out before they start dropping transports. Canada will end up probably buying a transport every turn now up until like turn 5 or 6. And UK wants about just under a dozen. 10 should do transports. America wants anywhere between a dozen to 20 transports to get men across. So that's the plan. That'll be the long-term plan. And in Africa, South Africa is just bringing up more guys on the Allied or the Pro Allies card for the setup. This territory here is in the Pro Ally card, so they went ahead and activated that. Took out the 3 Italian infantry that were here. So they're really wrapping up the mid and southern Africa and trying to get as many of these troops up to Cairo as possible. They're definitely going to utilize these 2 transports to help facilitate that, get them up there before the Italians are ready to attack. I suspect probably a turn 4 attack, possibly turn 5, around that time frame. And they're going to try to get rid of Gibraltar by turn 4, probably. They did go ahead and activate the money territories for Iran, for the UK. So this is more money for the Commonwealth. They'll go ahead and activate the last territory just to get that 1 extra infantry and get prepped up to go after Iraq at some point. So the Japanese Empire is coming along. They're a little behind. This Chinese attack really hurt them because they did lose 4 units, but the counterattack. So Japan up here kind of has a decision: go all in with these 2 bunch of these units into Communist China, or do we attack from north and south with Japan to get rid of their 3 cavalry, bunch of infantry, and leave Communist China alone, probably until the turn after. We'll see how it plays out. It'll be hard to attack both of them with any kind of successful force. If they do go after both, they do have a bunch of transports here, so it could work. We'll see. And again, for Germany, all they're doing is building up for the next couple turns. We're going to plan for a turn 4 attack and go from there, I guess. All right. Well, thank you for watching and have a great day.